Hi, it's Tracy with Live Your Bliss Travel, and we're back with Dena Clover Vargas to talk about her amazing experience in Costa Rica. I love Costa Rica. I can't wait to go back. I'm going back this year again, but I just wanted to share with some of you some of the exciting adventures and excursions and different things that Dena and her family had in Costa Rica. So, Dena, thank you so much for sharing with us today. I'm sure that a lot of my clients and people who are going to be watching this really want to know, like, hey, what were some of your best experiences in Costa Rica?
Thanks, Tracy. It was also magical. It really kind of exceeded expectations, and just from beginning to end. The choices that you made for our hotels and our transfers just made it super easy. We flew into San Jose. I said in the other segment how had no idea what I didn't know that I will know that I needed, which was like our transports. So we had private transports to Manuel Antonio, and then when we got there, it was we were staying in a house, Airbnb, and staying at the house, and it was. My mom said that was one of her favorite things, to have this 3-bedroom house. And then we had, our tour into Manuel Antonio, where we got to hike to waterfalls and swim in the ocean, swim on 2 different beaches, see all this wildlife. And for our generation, 3 generation, my mom, my husband, my daughter, and I, being able to go and have this experience when my mom's getting older, and that was why we were doing the trip. And I don't know that we'll be able to take that trip again. And so all of these beautiful experiences that we got to have along the way. Your guides were amazing. The guides were so like friendly and helpful.
Wait,
The
did
what?
she? Okay, so just to interrupt for 1 second, I'll never forget Giovanna, who's the guide who went with you. I recommend her in her tour group for all of our people because she literally could spot a sloth in a street in the tree like a mile away. That even with her binoculars, as I'm standing there looking through the binoculars, she still has to kind of point it out and do the things. And I'm like, how did she see this? Right? Like it's crazy.
Yeah, no, and that was it. We saw, so the idea of like seeing all of these animals in the wild, and then even we had monkeys following us, and her knowledge of all of it, just the topography, the politics, the this and then that. And yeah, we saw our sloths in the wild taking naps in the
That was
afternoon.
your mom's thing. I gotta see a sloth, right? And I'm
She
like,
got
all
to see
right.
a sloth. Well, and we laughed because we saw a sloth on a pole on the way home, and on the way back, like right there. So the driver stopped, and we got to like be where we could reach out and touch it. It wasn't at the park. It was at on the
I'm
way
telling
to
you. Yeah.
El Evian, which was, we went to El Evian with this, the plane restaurant overlooking while the sun set. I mean, it was all these magical, magical moments, watching my mom swim in the ocean, and where we sat and where we were. And it was just amazing. And our driver, we had, there were several points throughout our trip because we were maximizing getting to see Costa Rica, and being able to drive stress free, have this driver and drive us up north. So we got to see all of the countryside, and stop for lunches at little sodas, and
Yeah.
be and
Soda's what they call the restaurants in Costa Rica, for those of you that don't know. Because in the
yeah.
beginning, I was kind of confused. They're like, let's go, do you want a soda? And I'm like, what? But
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
and a couple of the drivers that we use, they're so knowledgeable. And that was a learning for me too, is when you take a transfer, these drivers, when you have a private transfer. So you guys had 4 in your group, so the price point was amazing. I've even
Mhm.
done just like 2 in a group, and it's a great price point. But they will stop 10 times if you want on your little drive, and they stop at waterfalls, they stop at great restaurants, they took me to this amazing pastry bakery in Jacko on our way, and they're like, would you like to stop for coffee and pastries? I'm like, are you kidding me? So that was awesome. But I love how kind and wonderful the people in Costa Rica. I mean, this was my experience, and I hear this from a lot of people. It's like the people is like one of the most amazing parts of going to Costa Rica. Would you agree?
Oh, no, absolutely. Servant heart, that I love that term, servant heart. And I
Mm-hmm.
felt like and talking about you too, that it's like that the passion is in providing, in providing this experience and providing good service, and there's intimacy like in that with the people that you're in connection with, that it's important to them. It was important that we had a great time, and it became like family. I mean, we ended up having one driver that stayed with us for 2 days and stayed an overnight, which was a last minute decision. He became family. I mean, it was we knew about his life, he knew about ours, and we had fun.
We use him a lot. He has the biggest heart. And so Giovanna, our national park driver. And then I know you did one other excursion that was one of my favorite things, and that was the
chocolate tour. So the chocolate tour, So the chocolate tour was fantastic. Again, we got a nice drive through the area to get a better better location for Manuel Antonio and seeing where we were. And then we went and did that chocolate tour, which was absolutely just it was decadent in its, it was cultural, had history. The guide was passionate about what he was doing. He'd been doing it for, I think, like 15 years.
And he was young. He was young and a little hot. No, just kidding. He was young but knowledgeable.
He was really young and knowledgeable, but he also really, again, that true like passion for what you're doing, and creating this experience. It was interactive. We got to have our chocolate. They got to do the cane, squishing the cane to get the sugar out.
Yes. Extracting that gin juice was an experience.
Right. And then just, getting to be in this beautiful, I mean, aesthetically, it was just so magical walking through their, like, it was like a botanical garden, and then, to have the chocolate and have honor and respect.
The coffee. Did you like the mocha? So they do the coffee and they do the chocolate. So it's like a cacao and coffee tour. I didn't know what to expect when we went the first time. I'd heard good things, but it very much exceeded my expectations. But so Dena, you guys went for 2 weeks and you moved destinations. I just want to speak to the fact that Costa Rica is kind of a vast country, if you will, and you can take 3 or 4 hours to go to one area. So part of my recommendations for Costa Rica, for those of you that are looking to go, obviously reach out. Live Your Bliss Travel is here for you. But on the other side of that, you want to make sure really that you kind of have 2 different areas that you stay in. So I definitely recommend at least 8 days. Because travel is 2 days, and then you're gonna, not only do you have to fly in, but then you're gonna transfer to 2 of the different areas. So I think 8 to 10 days is a good amount. I know you guys were there for 2 weeks. Oh my gosh.
15 days.
15 days. Oh my gosh, that's amazing. But I think overall there's a great value there. Now, it's not as cheap as Mexico, but it definitely is just such a wonderful experience. I recommend Costa Rica for everyone. If you haven't been, it's definitely one of those trips that you should look at. And right now it's easier than ever to go, and there's just so much to do. So, but you also went up to Nassau, which is more of the beachy area. What was one of your favorite things in Nassau?
Well, our hotel, the hotel was magical. I mean,
yes.
It was magical, and it was everything, kind of catering to my mom and what my mom aesthetically likes. It was like there's so many beautiful options, but I felt like it was really important that we accommodate what she wanted, which was this very simplistic, minimalist luxury. And so that's what we had. It was a luxurious hotel, but that was aesthetic and unique and minimalist, but the parts of it that they had, the food, the service, the architecture was so amazing and luxurious. And then the location, we were on, 2 of the most, we were right, like kind of on a peninsula with what is, 2 of the most beautiful beaches in Costa Rica, touted all over. And it was true. On one side we had kind of volcanic rock, and then on the other the white sand and the surfers, and then just very pura vida, right? The pura vida.
Pura vida. That's it. Yeah. Pure life. And that's Costa Rica.
and everybody was getting around on ATVs. That's the only regret I had, is that we didn't we the ATVs were all sold out because they're just getting around on ATVs. But the it was very, it just felt very peaceful and calm. And I got in the best, like when I came back, I was realizing I was probably in the best shape I've been in years, even just with the 16-day trip. We hiked, we swam, we napped. Uh, it was such a beautiful, peaceful, like energetic at the same time
Oh
location.
my gosh.
Yeah, that I just I mean, even now it's like it's melted into my daily life. um
I
and
love that. I love that. Yeah, I have to say, when I was in Costa Rica and I came back, I told people Costa Rica is life changing. And they're like, well, you traveled all over the place, Trace. And I go, but there is an energy in Costa Rica. And especially like in
yeah.
any of the jungle areas, it's like there's a pulse. It's hard to describe, but it is one of my favorite places. So, Dina, I'm gonna thank you so much for sharing so much of your trip with us. And for any of you that are interested in going to Costa Rica, let's chat, because it is really just an incredible place to go. And to your point, Dina, like I was hiking and walking and eating whatever I wanted, and I came back feeling fit and healthy because they're one of the top green countries, and they're really all about like organic foods, and there's so many options for vegan and vegetarian. And I'm not even a vegan or vegetarian, but when you eat really well prepared food, it just feeds your soul. And so we just had the most amazing experience, and I highly recommend it. And I'm so grateful that you and your family allowed me to help participate in planning this dream vacation for you. And I love you. Thanks so much for being here
Oh, love
today.
you too, Tracy. It was
Okay.
amazing.
Thank you.